Especially as a smaller guard, finishing amongst the trees ain't easy. You're already usually at a pretty high speed, entering an area where at least 1 to 2 people are trying to send your shot into the stands. So to get the shot off can already be difficult, let alone read the situation, adjust, and then have the touch to finish. So I'm going to give you a bunch of tools you can use to not only get off your layups easier, but also to do so in a controlled manner that will help you make a much higher percentage of them. This will take time to not only train, but then become second nature in the flow of the game, but it's a really good start. Also make sure to stick around to the end for probably the most important part. Let's get to it. So first off is a tool that's absolutely non-negotiable. Learning to create contact in a controlled fashion that creates position on your defender, but also keeps you composed and still stable enough to finish. If you watch these are some big powerful hits here. So you're really able to knock them out of position, send them backwards a bit, and then quickly get into your finish. But also notice that these are all on the ground for the most part. So bumping and then jumping. If you're already smaller than a defender, your advantage is in the ground, not in the air. Plus, this wears down your defenders so that over time, you get a little bit less effort, a little bit less pushback on each finish. And if you can use this contact or even just take a super tight angle to sneak around your defender to get fully in front, then obviously that's a game changer. Way easier said than done, of course. Now the only way the initial defender gets to it is reaching over the top and hoping they don't foul, which most times they will. In worst case, even if you don't get fully in front, now you have a positional advantage. So actually the way you drive can really help the way you finish. Next is pace. And I'll tell you this, if you're going 100% to the rim, it probably won't end up well. Of course, there are times for really intentful, fast attacks towards the rim, but there's a difference between a calmer looking 80 or 90% attack like Van Vliet here, and a 100% attack. When you're full out as hard as you can, you get tunnel vision a bit, and you lose your ability to cleanly stop, change directions, etc. Not these guys. So keep your pace in mind as you're attacking, and ensure you're at a speed that will allow you to maintain your feel for the floor, jump comfortably, and have options rather than racing to the rim every time. Also, once players get down in that area, a lot of the time they have a tendency to go up off as little dribbles as possible, while super in control players are comfortable taking this extra dribble to cover a bit more ground from the defender, throw off the defender's timing, or to get to a position under the rim where they can now use it as protection. Definitely a crafty option, but it takes control. Speaking of throwing off timing, there are a ton of ways you can do this. You can jump from further out, even before defenders expecting it, to get into the air quicker and therefore, most times beat them to the rim. So look how Van Vliet is up in the air, about to release the finish before these guys even jump. It can be a quick inside hand sneak that always has defenders surprised and allows you to stretch past them a bit like you see Schroeder do here. And obviously a same foot, same hand layup. Another key quality is being able to change directions on your jumps, which gives you the option to work away from the defender's momentum and create space for the finish. This is usually easier with a 2-foot jump since you have a bit more deceleration and time on the ground to switch directions, but it can also be done off of one if it's a slower stride and if it's something that's been worked on. No matter how you do it, just watch how even a slight change of direction creates just enough space for the finish. Having a quick release is big too. We talk about it all the time with shooting, but it's just as important with finishing. Being able to move at a high speed and quickly get the ball up onto the basket, almost like a race to the backboard, will allow you to take advantage of little windows of time while the defenders are relaxing, still sprinting with their arms by their side, or just overall aren't expecting the finish. Now this is tough because with more speed comes more momentum on the ball, so that touch has to be crazy, but obviously, again, very doable. On the flip side of this though, many times it's worth slowing down and working out of a pivot. Almost all great smaller finishers have a pivot game, not only because it allows them to fake and throw off defenders to get a finish off, but also because they can pass out of it. It buys time, puts them in a good situation to step through, create contact, whatever, and worst case, they just pass it and keep the play moving. Moving back to more dynamic finishes, keeping the ball moving and using it as bait is I'd say one of the top 3 tools in this video from a frequency of use standpoint. So watch here as IT goes up with the ball, gets his defenders up in the air, and then goes through them. Same thing here. Once these defenders jump, they're done for. The ball is a powerful tool, and keeping it moving not only serves as a fake, but also prevents defenders from predicting and swiping at it, and helps create momentum on finishes. But with this comes the need to finish on the way down from the jump too. If you're moving the ball around, you only have so much time to do so before you land, so you better be comfortable finishing later in that window. Plus it helps you cover just a bit more space before the ball goes up, which can be the deciding factor. Then it's getting comfortable with different release points on your finishes, so you're not a prisoner to the defense, Whatever you feel like they can get to in terms of blocking that ball, you'll be able to find their way out with a different release point. This could be outside the shoulder, adjusting to the other side quickly, whatever. But it can't just be a regular underhand and overhand release. And similarly, in terms of ball placement, being good at getting the ball elevated a bit over defenders will always help. But lastly, and most importantly, remember this: you will get blocked. It's going to happen. Understanding this is step one to becoming a great finisher and actually getting blocked less. Why? Because when you're not scared to fail, you're going to finish with more confidence, with more aggression. You eventually figure it out. You improve. If you live in fear of messing up and getting your shit sent, you'll never be a great finisher, trust me. I know personally when I'm tense and I'm trying not to get blocked, that's actually when I end up missing what turn out to be easy layups. And I've talked to plenty of players about this too, because honestly, we often have the idea that defenders are always going for the block. Far more often than you'd expect, they're not. They're just jumping, trying to change the shot. Or maybe they're trying, but it's a half-ass effort. I mean, look at these. And these are pretty normal. And again, if you don't live in constant fear of getting blocked, you're going to be attacking these assertively, which is huge. So take all these tools and apply them. I'm more than confident you'll see your finishing around the rim elevate to new heights. As always, let me know what you think. Let me know how this goes. Follow me on Instagram at ByAnyMeansBasketball for a lot more. And also make sure to check out our virtual academy programs through the link in the description. Until next time.